Hi everyone, my name is Krishnaveni. I am working as Assistant Professor in Marri Reddy Institute of Technology and Management. Today I am here to discuss about some important topics in biodiversity and biotic resource. Here in this session we will discuss about the value of biodiversity. Coming to the multiple uses of biodiversity, value has been classified by McNeely et al. In as follows. The scientist McNeely has divided the values of biodiversity into consumptive use value, productive use value, social value, ethical value, aesthetic value, optional value, and ecosystem service value. We will discuss about these all values in detail one by one. First, consumptive use value. These are the direct use values where the biodiversity products can be harvested and consumed directly. For example, the food, the medicines, and the pesticides, the drugs, fibers, etc. For example, the food. A large number of plants are consumed by human beings as food. About 90% present day crops have been domesticated from wild tropical plants. Okay, the consumptive value means the food we will get from the plants and drugs and medicines, and some of the drugs and 75% of the world's population depends upon plants or plant extracts for medicines. In olden days also, the Ayurvedic medicine is completely depend upon the plant resources only. Okay, and coming to the penicillin or penicillinum, we know penicillin is a one of the wonderful antibiotic drug. Okay, and the quinine bark of cinchona and vinblastin and vincristin cathanthus. These are all the examples of the plant products from which we can derive some medicines. Okay, and next coming to the fuels. Forests have been used since ages for fuel wood. Fossil fuels are also products of fossilized biodiversity. Here we can see catharanthus, this plant. The flowers and leaves of this plant will have the anti-cancer drug property. Okay, and the Penicillium notatum. Okay, this is a wonderful drug and it is a wonderful antibiotic. Okay, this penicillium is discovered by Alexander Fleming, and it used as antibiotic for so many diseases. Next, consumptive use value. Much of the freshwater and marine harvest of the organisms used for food depends upon natural ecosystems rather than aquaculture. Okay, see here the freshwater ecosystems are more usable for humans and rather than the aquaculture and marine harvest ecosystems. Wild fruits, vegetables, fibers, beeswax, and seaweeds are more important economically. Okay, wood, rubber, and latex are tree products of great economic importance. See here the wood, rubber, and the latex. These are all the tree products which will have the great economic importance. The latex, the trees from which we will get the latex, the latex is converted further process into the rubber. These rubber will have the commercial importance, like the wild fruits and vegetables which will be used available from the forest, and the beeswax. Okay, and the seaweed. These are all important economically. Sustained production rather than ecosystem destruction will ensure that these products are available indefinitely. Okay, these are all the consumptive use values of the biodiversity. Next, see here some of the consumptive and productive uses of soil biota. See, direct use for food. Okay, here we are using the land for direct use of food, and these are the edible ants, and these are fire smoked moto and manure piles for compost production, food for backyard animals, compost from earthworms. Okay, here by using the earthworms we can prepare compost for the fields. Okay, the soil which were used by these earthworms will have so many nutritional values that is used for compost for the plants. Okay, manure piles for compost production. Here we can produce the manure from the waste. And productive use of the biodiversity. The productive use of the biodiversity emphasizes its role in industries, agriculture, medicine, fisheries, and trade. Okay, it shows how biodiversity is not just an ecological asset but also foundation of for economic development and human welfare. See here, the product in productive uses the pesticides, material, and medicines. Here, the pesticides. The Calabara beans are used as pesticides to kill insects. These are the kind of species of beans, Calabara beans. These are poisonous for human consumption, but it is used as pesticides to kill insects on the plants. Okay, and the metal pyrethrm used the oil which was secreted from these flowers of the pyrethrm plant is used in mosquito coils and lice killing shampoos. Okay, and the medicine. Coming to the medicine, neem used in antibacterial and antifungal creams, soaps, and shampoos, etc. We know the neem. Okay, it has so many good medicinal values. It is used as antibacterial, antifungal creams, soaps, and shampoos. Next, direct services of wildlife. See here, wild species like many marine species provide us with food, like the fishes, prawns. These are the marine food which are helpful for the human consumption. And next, also the wild species like rubber can provide a product indefinitely if the forest is not destroyed. See here, this is the latex tree from which the white color milk will be collected, and further process this white color latex will be converted into rubber. Here these trees, the rubber trees will be uh, available in the forest area only. Okay, that's why if we can uh, protect the forest, we can produce more rubber from these trees. And next, social values. Social values of the biodiversity refers to the manners in which the resources are used to the society. These values are associated with the social life, religion, and spiritual aspects of the people. Is here the first social values coming to the holy plants. Many plants are considered as the holy plants in our country. For example, we tulasi, people, and lotus and betel tree, etc. These plants are considered as the holy plants, and pujas are done for these plants. Okay, the leaves, fruits of these plants are used in worship. Our rich heritage teaches us to worship plants, animals, rivers, and mountains. Okay, in our heritage, in our culture, mainly in our Indian culture, we worship the plants, animals, rivers, okay, and mountains also. The ethical value means that a species may or may not be used, but its existence in nature gives us pleasure. Okay, next, social value. Social value of biodiversity refers to religious and cultural importance. As I told, trees are worshipped as god, example banyan tree and people tree. Flowers, this is the banyan tree, and the flowers and tulasi leaves are offered during pujas. These are the social values. Coming to the animals, the elephant, the cow, the snake, even rats in some areas are worshipped. Okay, these are all come under the social values of the biodiversity. Next, coming to the ethical values. Ethical values is also sometimes known as existence value. Okay, it involves ethical issues like all life must be preserved and the concept of live and let live. Okay, we should have, as a human beings, we should follow some ethical values. We have to live all together. The concept is live and let live. You have to live along with the other creatures and other human beings, other plants. Okay, we have to be in mutual beneficiary with other plants and animals. Okay, for our usage, for our existence, we should not harm any plants and animals. This is the concept of live and let live. The ethical values means we may or may not use a species, but we feel the existence of species is necessary. We can see some of the endangered species like the zebras, okay, like cheetahs. These are all the endangered species. Single horn rhinoceros, these are all the endangered species. The number of count of the species is going down from year to year. This is called the endangered species. Okay, the human beings should follow some ethical values for the existence of the endangered species. Next, coming to the aesthetic value. People from aesthetic value means the beauty of the nature which we feel is called the aesthetic sense, aesthetic value. Some people, some persons will generally will have the aesthetic sense. Okay, people from far away and wide spend a lot of money to time and money to visit beautiful areas where they can enjoy the aesthetic value of biodiversity, and this type of tourism is known as the ecotourism. See, the tourism is developed in India by spotting so many tourist places like the mountain ranges, the hill ranges, the waterfalls. Here we can see the waterfalls, okay, the snowfalls. Okay, this will all come under the ecotourism. The ecotourism also play one of the major important role in the India's GDP, gross development product. Next, the pleasant music of the world birds, color of the flowers, peacock, butterfly are all important aesthetic value. Okay, we can sense the pleasantness of the music of the birds. Okay, and the color of the flowers, the color of the peacock wings, and the butterfly. These will give us the pleasantness to our mind. Okay, these all will come under the aesthetic sense, aesthetic values of biodiversity. And next, optional values. The optional values are the potentials of the biodiversity that are present, unknown, and need to be known. The optional values of the biodiversity suggest that any species may be proud to be a valuable species after some day. See here, some species will become extinct and they are not present in future or at present. But the existence of this species will be proved. Okay, the growing biotechnology field is searching a species for causing the disease of cancer and AIDS. Okay, today the cancer and AIDS are most dangerous diseases. The biotechnologists are searching, the scientists are searching what are the root causes from where these cancer and AIDS has appeared in the humans. Okay, what is the main reason for this cancer and AIDS? What is the genetic information from where we can get the genetic information regarding this? The biotechnology scientists are working on this. Okay, the medicinal plants and herbs play very important role in our Indian economic growth. Next, coming to the global biodiversity. Total number of living species in the world are about 20 million. Okay, we have about all over 20 million living species in our world, but of which only 1.5 million species are found and given scientific names. Okay, each and every species will have one genetic name, one species name. Out of 20 million, only 1.5 million species are given the names. Tropical deforestation alone is reducing the biodiversity by 0.5% every year. Tropical deforestation means the cutting of the forests for some of the growth, for industrial growth. Okay, for example, for industrial growth, we will cut some forest, we will occupy some forest for residential areas for industrial purpose. This is called the deforestation. Due to the deforestation, the biodiversity is reducing 0.5% every year. Naturally, the species will become endangered. Next, marine natural products. See here, the some marine natural products will have some medicinal values. For example, the sea cucumber, we can see in this picture, the sea cucumber is having the anti-cancer properties. The sea cucumber is having the anti-cancer properties. Several show pharmacological activities and effective against cancer, AIDS and arthritis. Highly potent, highly efficient. Potent means highly efficient drugs we can produce from the natural sea animals and the microorganisms which are present in the oceans. Next, ecosystem service values. Okay, the ecosystem service values will have the regulating global process, for example, atmosphere and climate. Okay, we should regulate the global process, means we should regulate the pollution in the climate so that the atmosphere should be pleasant and clean. And soil and water conservation, we should not pollute the water and soil. Okay, and next, nutrient cycle, we should follow proper nutrient cycling for both the plants and animals. And pollination and seed dispersal. Okay, pollination, if the environment is green, the pollination will occur properly and the seed dispersal will take place, and naturally the plants will grow fastly, and the forest area will be increased and the greenery also will be increased. Control of agricultural pests, we should reduce the chemical pests for killing the insects and microorganisms. Instead of using the chemical pests, we should go for natural pests to kill the microorganisms and insects. Okay, why? Because the usage of these chemical pests will cause harm to the environment. And next is genetic library. Genetic library means we should maintain, the scientists have to maintain the records of the species of each and every plant and animals. Okay, regarding to the species and of plants and animals. Inspiration and information. Okay, everyone should get inspiration through biodiversity, and information should be maintained by certain authorities. And next is scientific and educational. Scientific and educational information should be provided, and tourism and recreation. Through this biodiversity, we can create the tourism. And cultural, spiritual, and aesthetic. Everyone should have the cultural, spiritual, and aesthetic sense towards the biodiversity. And community resilience. Okay, the community resilience, the maintenance of the community resilience also is very important to survive in biodiversity and to survive in the biodiversity, and to maintain the relationship between among these values in the biodiversity. And next, reference I have taken from the Conservation and Environmentalism by Robert C. and Encyclopedia of Biodiversity by Salmon. Thank you all for this session.